Hi, welcome to Neural Splendor. Tonight I wanted to reply to a question that one of my viewers asked. Taylor, you had asked about your truck. You're having trouble with 559 pulling, and it's been at the dealer and they changed some parts and they're still having problems when they road test it. So that can be a difficult fault to troubleshoot, obviously. I'm going to first list quickly the things that I think need to be checked. The rail pop-off valve, make sure there's no fuel coming out of that when they're doing the high pressure fuel test. The flow test on the pump head, make sure it's not too high or too low. In the 559 troubleshooting video, when I had like almost 500 cc's coming out of the head, we had a failed, it's aluminum fuel block that bolts to the back of that steel high pressure pump head, and the fuel actuator goes in it. That has a check valve and some passages in it. If that fails, you won't necessarily have a leak, but you can have 559 pulling. The other thing that can do it is the pump head itself. If they put a Recon pump head on, the whole pump head, and you still got the problem, that obviously wasn't it. But if they just changed the tappets and the plungers in the pump head, and that's how I'm reading it, they put the original pump head back on. But there are parts in there, mainly high pressure check valves, and the seats on those can degrade. I've taken some apart that the pump heads did cause this problem that you're having, and we found that the seats were all pitted. So basically what happens then is it makes the high pressure, but instead of it staying up in the line and rail, it comes back into the pump head. It leaks back in slowly. Remember, this is a very high pressure, very low flow system. Those pumping pistons in the head, they only go up and down maybe 3/16 of an inch maximum. So everything's got to work, just right. So, the actuator, the only way to test that is to just replace it with a known good one. We keep a used one from an engine that we cored out. The dealer maybe has one he can stick in there and try that. So once again, to recap, rail pop-off valve, pump head itself because the check valves are leaking down, the aluminum block, or the fuel actuator. The pump head can be checked to see if those valves are bad using that tool that you bolt onto the rail where you block all the fuel lines off, put the tool on, and then you do two 15-second cranks and you check the flow that you get out of that total of 30 seconds that you cranked it, and then you look at that graph. And if it's in there's a bottom part where it fails, and then there's a gray part that's marginal, and then on the top it's white again where it's and the flow is high there, that's where the head's definitely passed. If it's down in that questionable area, you're probably going to have to put a Recon high pressure pump head on there to fix your problem. You also mentioned that the dealer did all the low pressure side checks. They found a filter problem in the tank. So it sounds like they're being thorough and doing a good job. And I know this is a difficult one to find sometimes, but that's what I would suggest. So good luck to you. I hope they get you fixed up quick and you're back on the road. Take care, and thanks for joining me on Neural Splendor.